From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Monday, February 2nd, 2026. I'm Steve Prentice. Coupang CEO questioned by police regarding data breach probe. Harold Rogers was, quote, reportedly questioned on Friday by police in Seoul who are probing whether the e-commerce site destroyed or hid evidence relating to a massive data breach that became public in November, end quote. He is considered a suspect in their investigation into whether Coupang obstructed a government inquiry, according to the Korea Herald. Investigators are also still probing another former Coupang employee who they believe played a key role in the data breach. Cyberattack on large Russian bread factory disrupts deliveries. This attack occurred in Russia's Vladimir region, 120 miles east of Moscow, and has disrupted food deliveries, according to local media. The Vladimir bread factory is one of the region's largest bakeries, and the attack disabled the office computers, servers, electronic document management tools, and the widely used 1C enterprise accounting system. Production of the bread products was not affected, however, delivery and logistics were. No group has been identified or has taken responsibility. Real estate agents in Australia use apps that leave lease documents at risk. According to a researcher who spoke to The Guardian Australia under conditions of anonymity, the platforms used by real estate agents in that country to upload documentation regarding renters and landlords are, quote, leaving people's personal information exposed in hyperlinks accessible online, end quote. This was proven by follow-up research performed by The Guardian. The exposed data includes lease agreements, identification documents, pay slips, and personal references. The researcher also showed that these links can be scanned by web crawlers and then cached. Microsoft to disable NTLM by default in future Windows releases. NTLM, short for New Technology LAN Manager, is a 30-year-old challenge response authentication protocol that was introduced in 1993 with Windows NT 3.1 and followed on as a successor to the LAN Manager protocol. It has now been superseded by Kerberos, which remains the default protocol for domain-connected devices running Windows 2000 or later. NTLM is still used as a fallback authentication, although it uses weak cryptography and has been widely exploited in NTLM relay attacks and by pass-the-hash attacks. The retirement of NTLM, part of Microsoft's push towards passwordless phishing-resistant authentication methods, will occur in phases throughout 2026. Huge thanks to our sponsor, Strike 48. Strike 48 is the agentic log intelligence platform that actually puts AI agents to work, maximizing log visibility without blowing your budget. Find the threats that your siloed tools miss. Get started today with pre-built AI agents and workflows that investigate, detect, and respond 24/7. Or build your own at strike48.com/security. That's strike, S-T-R-I-K-E, and the numbers 48.com/security. Microsoft links Windows 11 boot failures to failed December 2025 update. Following up on a story we covered last Monday, the Windows 11 boot failures that had been reported following the January 2026 updates are now being attributed by Microsoft to, quote, previously failed attempts to install the December 2025 security update, which left systems in an improper state, end quote. The boot failures were first reported after having installed the January 2026 Patch Tuesday cumulative update, resulting in a stop error of unmountable boot volume code. Microsoft said it is still working on a fix. Ex-Google engineer convicted of stealing AI secrets. Following up on a story we covered in March 2024, a former Google engineer who had been accused of stealing thousands of the company's confidential documents to build a startup in China has now been convicted in the US, according to a Department of Justice announcement on Thursday. Lin Wei Ding, also known as Leon Ding, 38, was convicted by a federal jury on 7 counts of economic espionage and 7 counts of theft of trade secrets for stealing more than 2,000 documents dealing with Google's AI technology research. Ding now faces a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison for each count of theft of trade secrets and 15 years in prison for each count of economic espionage. More Oregon residents find out health data was stolen in TriZetto breach. The November 2024 hack on the insurance verification provider TriZetto Provider Solutions allowed intruders to pour through protected health information and other sensitive personal information belonging to hundreds of thousands of patients and insurance policy holders. TriZetto, quote, did not discover the presence of the thieves on the network for nearly a year, end quote. NSA candidate Rudd defends foreign spying law. Army Lieutenant General Joshua Rudd has spoken in favor of Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA or FISA, which is weeks away from expiring if no action is taken by Congress. FISA, quote, gives spy agencies broad authority to collect communications from U.S. technology firms to hunt for national security threats living overseas, but also scoops up an unknown amount of Americans' communications without a warrant, end quote. This is a divisive issue within the highest levels of the U.S. government. Do you want to know more about the most pressing stories of the last few days in time for your weekly stand-up? Join us today at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the Department of No, where our guests Steve Zalewski, co-host of Defense in Depth, and Nick Espinoza, host of the Deep Dive radio show, will sort out the priority stories and do a deep dive on the ones that matter most. And of course, we will actively involve you in the conversation. Just go to YouTube and search for CISO Series and look for the Department of No under upcoming live streams. And if you have some thoughts on the news from today or about this show in general, please be sure to reach out to us at feedback@cisoseries.com. We would love to hear from you. I'm Steve Prentice, reporting for the CISO Series.
Cybersecurity headlines are available every weekday. Head to CISOseries.com for the full stories behind the headlines.